So good. Hot cocoa. You guys want some? Namaskaram, my dear friends. I am back. Today we are going to talk about the analogy of Mahasamadhi versus suicide. So dark. So before we dive into it, I am going to ask the question of what Mahasamadhi is. Am I saying it right? Mahasamadhi. 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 So I did some googling around and, the talks that I listened to. So Mahasamadhi is when a yogi consciously decides on leaving the body. So it's technically a state where a yogi has fulfilled to be in that state. Some mastery involved that when he decides to leave the body, he or she decides to leave the body, he or she can do so effortlessly. Versus suicide. So suicide is around the same boat where a person wanting to leave the body, but the body won't cooperate. So it's just a matter of this life splitting, cutting, like tearing apart the union of life and the body. Suicide. So very similar. Both aim to leave the body behind. But the main difference, I think, is the cooperation of the body to actually want to shed itself from the life. Okay, before we analyze this even further, we need to tackle on the word intelligence. So what is intelligence? So intelligence for me is like a program, like a software. Software is what makes a hardware run. So basically like a driver for a printer to work, or like a timer mechanism in a alarm or a timer machine, or like an application on a phone that allows the phone to do something special because of the app. So intelligence can be as simple as a timer mechanism in an alarm or like a timer device, and it can be as complicated as like an app on your cell phone. Basically, similar purpose, it allows a certain hardware to function a certain way. Software. So just imagine, if we compare it to our body, it's kind of similar. Our body has a lot of intelligence that we are somehow unaware of or unconscious of that it's actually working. For instance, our respiratory system. We breathe without really thinking about it. Like our heart pumps blood without really even thinking about it. And our stomach digests food. And you don't think about digestion, it just happens. So all of this system functions without us like actually being aware of it or thinking about it. It just does. So same analogy, it can be as simple as like grinding food in our stomach, doing it split, and the food gets grinded. Or it can be as complex as like our nervous system where it sends signals. I don't know how it does its signal sending, but this signal impulses that allows for our brain to function and make a certain perception based on what we have gathered in memory, etc., etc. Complicated, but you know what I mean. This program, this intelligence. So yes, in summary, our human body has a lot of human being systems that function without our necessary awareness. It just does. Our system just functions. We just are alive. This body functions. We breathe, we digest, we inhale, exhale, and pump blood. And we don't even think about it. That is intelligence. So now that intelligence is defined, let's look back at Mahasamadhi versus suicide. So think of it this way. Mahasamadhi is like knowing the ins and outs of a system and how it works. And not just like a single system, not just like the nervous system, but all of the system there is in our body, including like the system that works in the smallest cell, smallest atom in our body. When we have an understanding of how that works, understanding not just like in our brain type of understanding, but experientially understanding how these systems work. So with this sort of mastery, one can simply manipulate the body, the whole systems in the body, and have it in a way where we can manipulate it in a way where it functions to our desires. So at any given time, if we have enough mastery, we can decide to, just depart from this body. Okay, body, stop, turn off, I'm gonna leave, bye. Something like that. Versus suicide, basically oblivious. We don't know how the system works, but technically we're just pulling the plug. It can be literally pulling the plug, or like utilizing a noose or a gun. Either way, it's like an easy way out, or basically a shortcut. Just like anything, both will have consequences. Mahasamadhi and suicide. See, consequences, when we think about it, yeah, we only think consequences in terms of like in this physical world, what's the consequences? But there are consequences even after our physical existence. But see, I can't really propound on it because I don't understand it experientially yet. But it's like something we can't really deny. Just because we don't have evidence that it exists doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Basically, a yogi's proposal is that Mahasamadhi completely is liberating, while suicide is like a temporary or some sort of illusion of a liberation. Mahasamadhi, liberation. Suicide, illusion of a liberation. And consequences will have to be dealt with. Even when a person's already disembodied, consequences are never gonna go away. And some of these consequences also bleed through the next lifetimes. So, think about it. The AC is on again. Hold on. Okay, now I'm back. So think of it this way. Mahasamadhi, suicide. Basically ironed out. So wrinkly, smooth and entangled thread. Thread that's full of knots. Clear conscience, unfinished businesses. Tidy kitchen, a kitchen with a lot of dishes. Dirty dishes. In harmony, someone who's singing that's tone deaf. Stillness, restless and unconscious. So basically, Mahasamadhi is the goal and not suicide. So you guys, that was my quick analogy of both suicide, and Mahasamadhi. I hope I imparted something of value to those of you who are listening. So until next time, okay? Bear with me with how my brain works in this lifetime. Until next time, bye.